Participants children add.
Good evening to all of you. We are in a very special program. What is black fungus? Yes, COVID has passed, it's on. There are a few people who have recovered. Uh, and then now the fear factor of black fungus has started. What is black fungus or mucormycosis? What we talk. We do have experts with us from Shekhar Eye Hospital. We were getting plenty of calls from the public telling what is black because they were curious to know about it. So in that behalf, we thought we'll have a program, a very interactive session with our experts, so that any questions you have, you can always share with them, talk to them, get the clarification, and then your problem is also solved. So to start off with, we have Dr. Raj Shekhar, our medical director. He is MD from AIMS. He's going to talk about the importance of knowing about what is black fungus. We also have Dr. Shailesh. He's our glaucoma specialist. He's also from MD AIMS. He's talking about the signs and symptoms of black fungus. Now we have Dr. Swati. He's our oculoplasty surgeon. She will talk about the treatment. So without wasting much time, I'm handing over to Dr. Raj Shekhar. So over to you, sir.
Hello and greetings to everybody. Welcome to this evening's program on black fungus or mucormycosis. In the last few months, maybe just over a year, we are having this unprecedented pandemic of COVID. It's a viral illness. It's a new illness. It can cause illness starting from mild symptoms to even life-threatening condition. Because of such varied presentations, there are a lot of rumors, lot of fear, and at the same time, everyday changing scenarios in the management of the disease. To add to all this confusion and already existing anxiety, these black fungus cases have started appearing. For the public, it is something new like corona, but for medical fraternity, it is not very new. Black fungus or fungus disease is well known, but it is rare. Like we have bacteria and virus, fungus. What is fungus? Some useful fungi are also there. The one which causes your bread. And suppose you keep bread or bun somewhere in the corner of kitchen. After a few days, you see there's some patches coming on that. Sometimes in bathrooms and all that, where there is leaky walls, you see some black patches coming up. That's all fungus. In fact, fungus is there everywhere. But fungus itself cannot trouble human beings or any living organisms because our body has a kind of a resistance. During these times of viral illnesses and for various other reasons which my colleagues are going to give details, human body becomes susceptible or it becomes vulnerable, and even this fungus starts attacking human beings. So that is what is happening. So it's already there. It was there earlier also. After put on YouTube, kindly put it off, or if two speakers are there, you could kindly mute that. Yeah, thank you. So when your body becomes weak, even this commonly available or commonly found organisms start attacking the body. So we are seeing a lot of these cases. And more than that, there is fear. Many people have got COVID, they have recovered, they are fine. But they may be fine symptoms wise, but somewhere in their mind there is a fear that will I be getting black fungus? Do I have those symptoms? And all these days, people also read up in Google, people read up in newspapers, and more importantly, WhatsApp. Some friend says something. So, lot of confusion, doubts, new information, and anxiety. Am I getting black fungus? Am I going to lose my eyes? Am I going to die? This kind of fear has come up. We are getting hundreds of calls every day to the hospital asking for consultations, asking for clarifications, asking for doubts. So in this direction, we thought we'll interact with you all and share our knowledge. So with these opening remarks, so I request Usha to conduct the program. And Usha, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We have now Dr. Shailesh, who will talk about the signs and symptoms of black fungus. Sir, I'll share the screen, this thing to you, so you can take over, sir. Over
Yeah.
to Dr. Shailesh.
Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening, everyone. It is nice to meet you all again. Of course, we all are living. Hope you are all are staying safe, along with some amount of fear about the surrounding environment and the news that is going around about the corona and its additional, baggage that we are not expecting. That is called the mucormycosis infection, or the fungal infection, or the black fungus infection. So I would like to alleviate some amount of your fear and spread some messages so that you can be well informed and take appropriate treatment or suggestions. So what is this black fungus? How to detect? First of all, whom to approach whenever there's such situation happens. So whom should you approach to get a clarification? So the right persons would be a medical profession who deals with mucormycosis will be the areas that the fungus affects. That is in the nose mainly, throat, and it spreads to the eyes and then to the brain. Of course, as Dr. Rajshekhar rightly told, that we know this fungus was there since time immemorial. Only thing is it has come to the limelight because of the corona, then its associated immunity, lack of immunity, then its increase in its incidence. So earlier we used to see once in a year, one case in a year or so. Now we are seeing 1 to 5 cases in a day itself. So that is how it's so huge now, huge proportion. So that's what we have to know. So whom to approach is an eye specialist or any eye doctor or an ENT or any physician or a neurosurgeon or any physician is for that matter. So you can approach because all know about this fungus and they can appropriately guide it because it is a multi-speciality involving disease. Only one doctor cannot treat this because it involves different organs. Once it starts in one organ, it spreads to other organs. So just briefly touch upon a few important aspects of how this virus fungus spreads. So who all can get this fungus or the black fungus? Very important bottom line or the common factor is the one who is having COVID positive and who is usually getting admitted for treatment. And any age group gets involved, be it young or old people. And those who are on oxygen therapy for a few days or those who are on ICU, they are highly prone. It is said that non-medical grade oxygen or the liquid that is used in the inhalers or the oxygen therapy or the humidifiers, that also is a source for fungus. Nothing is 100% proven, but these are all the common factors which are associated. So we have to rule out one by one. Then the intake of steroids, be it intravenous, be it oral steroids, or be it inhalational. They would use this budesonide or any steroid inhalers that also can cause a lack of immunity. And those who have weak immunity, inherently, some people have got weak immunity, those who are having comorbidities, and those who are immunosuppressive therapy, those who are taking medicines for steroids or any immunosuppressive medicines for dialysis, they're on dialysis, kidney problems, liver problems, or those who are on arthritis immunosuppressive agents, they are prone for getting this black fungus. And very important is this diabetes. So the sugar level is very high in these patients. That's a common thing. The sugar level can be high because of the diabetes itself, which was there before. They get out of control when there is corona because the coronavirus is notorious in affecting the pancreas, which produce the insulin. So it affects this insulin so that the sugar level shoots up in those patients. Even a normal person can also get a high sugar level in corona when they have COVID. So diabetes is a very common, or the high blood sugar level is a very common risk factor for getting this black fungus. Another few things which are being coming to limelight is that excessive steam inhalation. Nowadays, people see a lot of news ads or TV. They will see that a lot of people are advising them to take steam inhalation day in and day out. So people are excessively or over abusing this kind of treatment. So this steam, excessive steam, can damage the nasal mucosa. Those are the sensitive lining in the nose, which are helpful in protecting us from the external environmental pathogens, that is the bacteria, virus, or fungus. So those mucosa gets affected when you are over abusing, like in the form of excessive steam inhalation, or they put some lemon water or so many other things. So have a minimum, have a very limited steam inhalation, and don't do any excessive steam inhalation. And nowadays it is also told that the corona mutant strain, that is a type of strain which is typical of for India, which is spreading nowadays, is one more reason why this we are all exposed to this kind of fungus. And there is a lot of research going on. We'll get answers in a definitive manner in the coming days, because these strains vary from country to country. Like we had UK strain or the South Africa strain. Nowadays we are being called as Indian strain, which B1.647, like that. So these are also are known to cause these kind of infection. So what are all these signs and symptoms, or how do you present? Lakshanagalu ಏನು ಇದರ. So they usually have one-sided headache on one side. Then they have swelling on the face, overall generalized swelling or a focal swelling, and pain behind the eyes. They also have the nasal stuffiness and congestion. They have blockade. They can't breathe easily through the nose. They open their mouth and breathe. Then there is associated discharge through the nose. It could be occasional tinge of blood also, and sometimes they vomit also with a tinge of blood or some dark colored sputum. These are the non-ophthalmic or the eye symptoms. Or those who have got eye symptoms, they usually present with swelling in the eyes. They have inability to open their eyes. The eyes are swollen, they won't open. And if the nerves get involved, they are unable to open their eyes. The face gets tilted to or shifted to one side because of the paralysis of the one side of the face. That's called nerve involvement. Then there will be redness of the eyes. Then there is double vision. Double vision means any object is seen as two, because the eye movement is restricted. The eye cannot move equally, and the eyes get frozen in many patients so that they can't see a clear image of the object. So then there is a loss of vision. There are two entities. One is the doubling of the image or double vision, and another is a loss of vision or subnormal vision. What you used to see before gets reduced because of the virus getting affected, involving the eyes and the retina. I will show you by figures, photos, so that you can understand better. Other than the eyes, we also have this kind of ulceration on the blackish discoloration of the roof of the mouth. That is called a hard palate when you open the mouth. Also, the people tend to have the loose tooth, and then around that there will be blackish discoloration around the tooth. So checking your teeth, checking your hard palate, throat, nose, cheeks, eyes, and the sensation and overall well-being. Now, the last step is the involvement of the brain. So whenever the brain gets involved or affected, they will have drowsiness. They feel disoriented. There is facial paralysis, that one side of the face gets drawn. Then there is numbness. Then there is, some people have this paralysis or stroke, what we call it as, because of the involvement of the brain. That is the last step that the virus or the fungus can affect. So these are the types of mucormycosis. Just a general slide I'm talking about. This is what rhinocerebral mucormycosis is, the one which is taking attention of all of us. This is the first one. Although it affects the lungs, skin, and the gastrointestinal tract on the disseminated mucormycosis, our area of interest will be in the rhinocerebral mucormycosis, what we deal with at present situation. How does it enter? Entry point is through the air or through the contacts. Nowadays, people use masks, repeated use of masks. The masks are moist, they are with humid environment, and these get soiled. Virus, it will give a good environment for the fungus to develop. So this mask also been a source of fungal. So be careful, keep a clean mask, frequently change your mask so that the source of contamination is reduced. And also inhalation. So once it goes through the nose, then throat, it can keep on spreading to the sinus, and then to the eyes, and then finally to the brain, apart from going to the lungs and other parts. So this is the images that shows the swelling of the cheeks, involvement of the cheeks. It indicates that the sinus, there are different sinuses. There's the maxillary, frontal, ethmoidal, and these are the sinuses where the fungus go and stay there and then cause derangement in their sinus, the wall of this mucosa, and then cause swelling and subsequent invasion. It just invades and corrodes different structures, spreads its tentacles. Like you can see here also, the cheek is getting involved and subsequently goes towards the eyes. And here one image where we can see that the hard palate, the inside of the eye, so inside of the mouth, you can see this involvement of by the fungus. There will be slight discharge from the throat also, and this blackish kind of discoloration or grayish discoloration. Along with that, you can see that there is discoloration in the nasal cavity also and some amount of bleeding. Coming to the eye part, there will be a lot of congestion or the redness of the eye. This is the conjunctiva getting red, and then there will be swelling of the eyelids. And this is one more thing where the conjunctiva is ballooning and swollen, and here there will be eyes gets frozen, that you can't move your eyes properly. If you move also, there will be pain also, and then there will be doubling of images whenever the eye is getting involved. So before the eye gets involved, there is already the sinus and those other structures already got involved. Now, to summarize in one slide, what all you should observe. Now, first thing is pain, redness around the eyes and the nose. Then, of course, there can be associated fever. Then the patient can also have headache, one-sided or in a vague headaches. Then they frequently also have associated cough. They have shortness of breathing also, and with the cough and the blood can also be associated finding in they vomit some amount of blood or a grayish looking secretions. Then there is altered mental status. They're disoriented, slightly dizzy, and then of course headache is one part of this. Now all these things, what I told was mucormycosis or the black fungus associated eye conditions. Now there are also other eye conditions or symptoms that the person can present which are not related to black fungus. It can be related one purely for COVID, because in the time of COVID, see, one is the COVID related manifestations of the eye and the black fungus related manifestations of the eye. So the black fungus is just an extension of the COVID findings. So just to be aware of what all things that an eye can present with someone who has got corona also. So the COVID positive, they can commonly have burning sensations, they have watery eyes. These are the two common things. Then the ocular discharge, it is whitish or a very clear discharge also sometimes. Itchiness, redness, then there is be photophobia, that is sensitivity to the light. This can also be because there is a reaction in the eye. They will be having this sensitivity to light and they can't open in bright light. They can't move with their eyes also. If they move also, there will be slight pain here behind the eyes. Then sore eyes, that's what we say. Then there is the eye pain also. So these are the findings that we see in a normal COVID affected patient, not specifically for the black fungus. Now, these are the normal structure which gets involved. Dr. Swati will be explaining in detail. This is the sinus part. From here, the fungus enters and affects all the structures, the eyelid, the mucosa, conjunctiva. Then they come to the retina conditions. Directly or indirectly, then they affect the optic nerve also. So mainly they come around this route. So inside the eye, what are the findings that we see in the retina? These are the conditions where the vision gets reduced or the subnormal vision. So not only that, you may not see double vision, you may not have the cheek swelling many times, you will have manifesting problem in your eyesight or the vision. So when we see inside, we can see that there is uveitis, a reaction in the eye. See, this is one eye where we can't see the inside of the eye clearly, the retina. Now we can see it is slightly better after the treatment, so that the infection is getting reduced. So this is called uveitis reaction in the retina. Then you can have this blockade of the blood vessels. So it is a very thrombogenic disease where it blocks the blood vessels, so it blocks the circulation indirectly. So this is called a cherry red macula, what we say the whole artery getting blocked, and then the eyes look, the retina looks pale. See, normal, this is the another right eye, there is a reddish looking retina. This is a normal healthy retina, this portion what I'm marking through the arrow. But you can see this is a very pale looking retina where the blood circulation is stopped, and then the person's eyesight is almost lost, or it is going to get lost within a few hours or so. So this is how the nerves gets, the blood vessels get blocked because of the COVID blockade. Another condition here, you can see only segment of the blood vessels getting blocked. See, there's bleeding here. This area is getting blocked, other areas are okay. This is how they present also inside the eye. So these are the symptoms that the patient presented in the subnormal vision or the loss of vision or decreased vision, along with doubling of images, swelling of the eye, inability to move the eyes, pain behind the eyes. These are the common eye conditions that we see with the corona or the black fungus. Now, how do we solve this puzzle? There are two things. Those who have corona, how do they come to solve this puzzle? That is, they should have high index of suspicion that they had corona or the COVID, they got treated or whatever the kind of treatment they had. Are they having these kind of symptoms? Pain, redness, swelling, inability to move eyes, decrease in vision, cheek swelling, sensitivity is impaired or lost, then there is a discoloration in the teeth, loose tooth, hard palate, the inside of the mouth getting depigmented or the color changes. So all these features, and along with it, once they involve the brain, they have disorientation, they have very poor orientation to the surroundings. So these are all the signs, symptoms of black fungus. So we should have high index of suspicion for those who are having corona or those who are having COVID. Now, along with that, those who are not having corona, see that you don't get corona. So stop corona by you following COVID appropriate behavior, like following safe distance of 2 meters, wearing a good clean mask, frequent changing of mask, and then hand clean and sanitizer or soap wash. So avoid getting corona, number one. If you get corona, don't worry. Just have high index of suspicion. If you follow all those high risk factors, what I have told, then go and have a appropriate doctor's consultation. So in the early stage, so that it can be easily controlled and prevented. So don't have fear. And further treatment modalities will be explained nicely by Dr. Swati. I will hand it over to Dr. Swati now. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Over to Dr. Swati. Dr. Swati, you're on mute, I guess. You're not able to.
Now we'll unmute.
Swati, we are not able to hear you.
We can see the screen, but can't hear you.
Sir, you can unmute her. You are the host.
Audible now?
Yeah, it's audible. It's audible and we can see the screen.
So I hope all of you are healthy and safe. I'll just share a small presentation on the treatment aspects of Mucor, now that we know how a patient presents to us, and a few precaution that we can take at home to perhaps prevent this dreadful disease. So mucormycosis is a fulminant disease that spreads in the body very rapidly. So the early detection of this condition is of prime importance. The earlier we initiate the treatment, the better the prognosis. The studies have suggested that a delay of 6 days doubles the mortality. So early detection is very, very important. Now, as Sir already mentioned, these fungi cause opportunistic infections. That is, they're present normally in the atmosphere, but it infects only those with poor immunity. So all the conditions which cause this poor immunity, all those factors have to be addressed while treating mucormycosis. In India, the most common one being diabetes. Now, once these are addressed, we need to remove all the dead tissues in the body and clear the fungus load in the body and initiate the antifungal therapy at the earliest. Now, this picture, we can see that the nose and the sinuses, which are located over here, they are very closely located. They are in proximity with our eyes and the brain. So whenever they get infected, they have an easy accessibility to enter the eye and to enter the brain. So whenever the mucormycosis is treated, there's a team formed, a team of specialty doctors who take care of you. This team comprises of the ENT surgeon, the eye surgeon, the physician. If it has spread to the brain, the neurosurgeon. This primary team is helped by the microbiologist, the pathologist, and the radiologist. So whenever you visit the hospital, apart from the general physical examination that is done, the team of doctors also check for your vision, the ocular movements, the retina, a complete face examination, nose examination, and with the slightest of suspicion, radiological scans are advised of the nose, the sinus, the eye, and the brain. Along with it, blood parameters to check for your blood sugar levels and the kidney function test will also be advised. So once the diagnosis is confirmed, the physicians take care of the diabetes, maintain adequate hydration. Now, because of high sugar levels and severe form of COVID affecting your lungs, there will be an acid-base imbalance in the body, which promotes fungal growth. So that has to be taken care of. And then they initiate the antifungal therapy. Now, by now, all of us will be familiar with all these antifungal drugs. Initially, they are given as injections for at least 2 weeks. And once things start stabilizing, we shift to oral antifungal medicines. Fungi are very, very resistant to any form of treatment. They take a long time to go from the body. So it might last up to 6 months of treatment. Now, the ENT surgeon might perform a diagnostic nasal endoscopy to take out certain tissues for sampling in case of inconclusive radiological findings. Else, the main job of him is the surgical debridement or the cleaning of the dead tissues. Now, this procedure has to be performed at the earliest and in all cases as soon as you're fit for surgery. With this, by removing all the dead and decayed tissues, we bring down the fungal load in the body, as well as since these fungi erode and spread to other tissues through blood vessels and block the blood vessels, unless these tissues are removed, medicines that we are giving through blood, the antifungus, don't reach the surrounding viable tissues. So this is a very, very important aspect of the treatment. Now, once all the debris are cleared, the area, the sinuses are cleaned every day with betadine and saline, and the ENT surgeon monitors through endoscope and or scans for further progression. Many a times the disease may progress and further destroy the surrounding tissues. So this surgical debridement need not be a one-time procedure, might have to be repeated, and as and when the tissues keep getting destroyed, they have to be removed. Now, what is the role of the ophthalmologist? He keeps a check on your vision. A drop in vision, restriction of eye movements, frozen globe, swelling of the eye, prominence of the eye, red, fiery looking eye, all these suggest that the disease is progressing. So in case of progression and with confirmation with the scans, the ophthalmologist may inject the antifungals in and around the eye. And if the entire eye is involved and the disease has progressed to an extent that it may end up progressing into the brain, which is a threat to life, the eye might have to be removed. So a lot of patients have a lot of fear with removing of organs of their body. But once things start stabilizing and the patients start recovering, there are rehabilitative measures in the form of customized prosthesis which can help them. But nevertheless, in our experience, we have come to conclusion that the catching this disease at its earliest is the key to a good treatment. So it also saves the patient from losing their organs. So this, as Dr. Shailesh has already mentioned, I would just like to brush up and revise it. When to approach a doctor? One thing, you have to be a COVID positive patient, most of the times. Once you've been diagnosed COVID positive, in your active phase of infection, as well as once you're discharged and you are at home quarantining, there are certain red flag signs that you have to be watchful about. If there is abnormal stuffiness in the nose, crusting inside the nose, discharge which can be blood tinged or blackish in color, headaches which are not subsiding with your conventional analgesics, and difficulty in chewing food, one-sided facial numbness or pain, facial pain which is one-sided. Now these are all the symptoms. So it is advised for all the patients to have a self-examination every day in daylight. And what to look out for? Look out for any abnormal facial swelling, look out for any swellings in and around the eye, with redness, with pain, with difficulty in opening and closing the eye, any kind of blackish discoloration or hardening of the skin around the nose, the cheek area, the eyelids, unable to open the eye with loss of vision. In such scenarios, immediately report to an ENT surgeon or an eye surgeon or even the treating doctor of your COVID. So at home, what else should you watch? You have to monitor your blood sugars regularly, keep a check on them. In fact, not only diabetes, all the other comorbidities also. And with more than 80% of the population falling under mild to moderate COVID and being advised home isolation, a lot of cases of self-medication or purchasing medicines over the counter on advice from a friendly neighbor, all these have to be avoided. Any medication that you take for your disease has to be under the supervision of your treating doctor. These are all patient-related issues. Now, we all know that the fungus can grow in unhygienic, moist, wet areas as well. So when you are under home isolation, hygiene should be given a lot of importance. When make sure that your room is cleaned every day. If the ACs have not been cleaned, do not use them. Follow strict hand sanitization protocols, like already Shailesh sir has mentioned. Mask hygiene is very important. Do not keep touching the front portion of the mask, which has droplets from your mouth and the nose. And with the weather conditions, the sweat is going to soil the mask. Make sure that they are changed. If you're using cloth masks, make sure you're washing them every day and sun drying them. A lot of patients have been advised for home oxygen therapy also. So make sure that you're using sterile water for the humidifiers. Clean the tubings, the nasal prongs, or the mask that you're using to provide oxygen every day. So having done all of this, with our experience that early detection is very, very important, I would still like to stress upon the fact that when in doubt, please do not hesitate to consult the doctor. It's better to err on the disease size rather than be negligent and end up in a very serious condition. So this is what I would like to tell. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Swati. Yeah, thank you so much. Any questions? On behalf of the public, I have few questions. The first question is, we keep hearing about black fungus in the newspapers. It scares actually. So now, if I've recovered from COVID, after how many days, or should I consult an ophthalmologist or an ENT surgeon always? That means all post-COVID patients will get black fungus. Possibilities are there. If so, then how often do I go? When do I go? When will I know that I have to go meet the doctor? Dr. Swati?
Okay.
Anybody?
Right. So it is not that every COVID positive patient is going to get mucormycosis. When do you get the eye checkup done? One thing is, if you have any of these symptoms, if you are in doubt, you please report to the doctor immediately. In case you're doing fine, once you have recovered, just visit an eye specialist as a routine checkup, because there are other things also which happens during this time, which also gets missed, like your retinal conditions might worsen because your sugars might not have been under control. glaucoma might worsen, cataracts might progress. So there are other health issues also which gets neglected because the entire focus is on COVID during that time. So once you have recovered, as a routine, it's advisable to visit an eye specialist. But during your disease phase as well as recovery phase, anytime you have to be watchful of those signs and symptoms. In case of suspicion, immediately report to the doctor.
Okay, I'm sure many would have got benefited by the answer you gave. So not a must that we need to go. That is what I am trying to tell. But however, there are other causes also which may have to visit the doctor and get the treatment, correct? Yeah.
It is advisable that once they recover, they have a general visit with the eye specialist.
Correct.
Okay. But urgent would be when they are having symptoms of all these
Thank you.
that we have enlisted on.
Thank you, doctor. One question to Dr. Shailesh. Headache. So regularly we get patients get headache, and is headache probably a cause for black fungus to happen, or headache is independent of it, sir? In case we have headaches.
Yeah, headache. If you know who is getting headache, a normal individual without COVID positive getting headache should not worry. Maybe the headache can be because of you not changing glasses, or some, if you are a glaucoma patient, or some pressure rise, or some other reasons also you can get headaches. So that is one part. Second part, those who are having corona positive or COVID positive treated with these associated risk factors of oxygen therapy, steroid intake, and immunosuppressive therapies. Along with that, if you have headache, definitely you have to come and get our eyes checked once. We have to see associated changes happening in the eye, as well as to rule out is there any other black fungus or the mucormycosis developing in the eyes or in the sinus part of this thing. So headache is one of the symptoms. Along with COVID positive or associated risk factors, definitely it is a cause for worry and has to be shown. And many times we can easily rule out by a proper eye examination.
Okay, thank you, doctor. Over to Dr. Rajshekhar. So one question for you. During this time, especially in black fungus, information is spreading out and people are scared, worried. How safe is it to get the cataract operations done? Can we postpone it? In case, do we have to postpone for this reason? Or if we do not postpone, like what safety measures can we have, especially black fungus related, sir?
The black fungus and cataract surgeries are not connected at all. See, in fact, any eye treatment and black fungus is not connected at all. In black fungus, eye also can get involved. In fact, many patients with black fungus have eye problems for which Dr. Swati has conducted a lot of complicated surgeries where she could remove the fungus and treat them and save the eye. So nobody should be afraid of black fungus. The main problem is coming because people come to the doctors little delayed. Typically, a patient who has recovered from COVID, so there will be some weakness and it will take time for him to become normal. But during that period, if they have any redness in the eyes or pain in the eyes or one-sided pain or toothache or any decreased in vision, like Dr. Shailesh and Swati beautifully showed, drooping of eyelids, any problem in and around the face, they should not neglect. What does it mean? They should not wait for days. Immediately they should have an eye consultation. In fact, one of the patients who had recovered from COVID complained of eye pain and tooth pain. Immediately they came and saw Dr. Swati. She investigated and found that it was normal. But at the same time, if it were to be black fungus, it could have been treated. If they had delayed, then a loss of sight and all those problems will come. So many problems of black fungus are happening because of the delay in reaching the doctors. And in the last few days and months, what we have seen is those who have got COVID, it's a viral illness. Viral illness affects all parts of the body. After recovery, many people who came to our hospital, we have seen them having many retinal problems and other eye-related problems. In fact, now we are telling whoever have got recovered from COVID, after 3 or 4 weeks after recovery, have an eye checkup done, is what we are trying to tell, so that we can rule out the problems in the early stage itself. So with this, probably this answers your question, Usha.
Thank you so much. I think our questions are answered. Here, one information to all the public is do not neglect, not to be fearful, not to be scared, but however, taking corrective proper measures would save you from fungus or COVID and so on. Shall we, with this, can we come to the end? Sir, anybody wants to talk? Our participants, anybody has questions?
Everybody a safe stay. Let them see, though the corona cases are coming down, the care that they have to take, let it be masks or hand sanitization and social distancing, should continue. And vaccination is happening, though it is slow because of the availability. As and when they get an opportunity, they must get vaccination done, and they should encourage their friends and relatives also to get vaccination done. So once most of the people or all of the people are vaccinated, then we can have a more safer society and we can have freedom from this pandemic. During this second wave, doctors, the healthcare professionals, and the support staff and other people have helped very much. With this, we could overcome this second wave. Many people were telling it will go on till August, September, like that. So even the world, other parts of the world, they are surprised that within 3 to 4 weeks, how India could control COVID. In newspapers, you see different versions, but compared to even USA and UK and other countries who claim that they have very good healthcare facilities, in India, COVID was controlled much better, much faster, and with less number of deaths. When I say less number of deaths, it's like, out of 10 lakh people, how many people are dying, kind of a thing. For example, UK is similar to Karnataka. That also has 6 crore population. Karnataka also has 6 crore population. In Karnataka, number of deaths due to COVID is around 35 to 40,000 deaths. Even if you say some deaths are not reported, not accounted, it may be another 20, 30,000, maybe 50, 60,000. But in UK, 1.3 lakh people have died because of that. In USA, to do one cremation, they have taken 29 days. It used to be queue. Here, they were showing all in TVs. In USA itself, they could not cremate people. It was a queue, they were giving dates. Some patient known to us took 29 days to get their relative cremated there. So compared to that, we have done very well. Thanks to all the public, all the healthcare professionals. This time, the doctors, the staff, they work like anything. None of them took leave. They worked overtime. They showed a lot of dedication. In fact, if you see any of the press, there's a lot of praise for healthcare professionals. Being healthcare professional, we are proud of our colleagues, though some of them died and many people had a lot of losses. But it's okay. That's part of this, and we could save many lives. That's the satisfaction. So, as a
one question, sir. One question from the participant. Very nice question. Medical oxygen, steroids, mucormycosis, immunosuppressants use, diabetes, COVID, etc. are already there last year. But why sudden spurt in the infection of the fungus now?
See, this fungal disease is a rare disease. It affects those who are having low immunity. When we say rare disease, if it happens in 1 in 5,000 people, last time the number of cases of COVID that you saw was less. This time number of cases you saw, COVID cases were more. When you see more number of such cases, even a less rare disease also starts showing up. Even last year in Bangalore itself, many of our colleagues had seen black fungus patients. Numbers were less. This time numbers are more because COVID numbers are also more. That is one reason. Second is probably, people also medicated themselves is what we are thinking, because many people who stayed home, they saw WhatsApp treatments and they started medicating themselves. Possibly, so there were lack of beds. So many reasons are there. Possibly that reason also is there. So basically, this fungal disease is a known disease, but it happened when so many people had low immunity during this period of time. And
Yeah,
so
Dr. Swati.
Swati wants to add, yeah.
So also the mutant variant of COVID virus, it is being investigated for it. If because the variant that has infected this time is different from the last year. Maybe that also has a role. We need to evaluate it, check with it.
Good.
Like Shailesh sir said, we might be able to give an answer to this soon.
Yeah, one more thing is just get a blood sugar level checked, because this coronavirus is notorious to affect the pancreas and deranging the metabolism and causing shooting up of sugar level, which is causing further immune related problems. So get your sugar level checked. Although you may be normal 1 month back, get your sugar level checked. Basically, small basic parameters of lab investigations, a consultation with the doctor. Not to be fearful, but you should be aware. Some amount of fear is important, but not to be so dreadful that you don't go out of your house. So be in touch with your doctors. There is teleconsultation, video consultation, and most of the hospitals are open. You can drop in and take an opinion from your doctor, so that you can show early and detect if it is there, and so that you can get treated in time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to all of you, to the speakers. Definitely, it was an eye-opener. We got to know what is black fungus, how is it, what are the signs and symptoms, and how can it be treated. I'm sure all the other participants, all the people viewing also would have got benefited from it. So stay safe. Let's fight COVID at the earliest. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Stay safe.